Hey folks, today is June 14th, 2025, and holy smokes, do we have a situation on our hands. But before we begin, if you're new here, it'd be super awesome for you guys to hit the like button and subscribe to this video. I am out with my family right now and took some time away to talk about what's going on and to make this video. So it would definitely be appreciated. Now, let's get right into it. Today, we're talking about the conflict that we're seeing play out in the Middle East, specifically in Iran and Israel. So in this video, I'm just laying out the facts. I'm trying to answer with you what the heck is going on and what is Canada's play. So let's get right into it. First, we have to backdate the situation and look at what's been going on first. Here's essentially a recap of what happened between Israel and Iran in the past 4 days. Based off of what we know, Wednesday, June 11th, in the evening, Israel launches Operation Amklavi, which attacked Iran's nuclear and military sites. We're talking Natanz nuclear facility, Fordo, and missile production plant. Israel did this to stop the IRGC from going nuclear, basically to stop the terrorists. Then after that, Iran reported 78 dead individuals plus key military figures, like General Mohammad Bagheri and terrorist IRGC commander Hossein Salami. Thursday, June 12th, early morning, Iran's supreme leader said there would be severe punishment, and Iran closed its airspace. Iraq, Jordan, and Israel did the same. Social media went wild with unverified clips of smoke over the airports in Tehran. Thursday, June 12th, late in the night, Iran launched an unjustified terrorist attack on Israel, firing over 100 ballistic missiles and drones at Israel. Explosions lit up Tel Aviv and Jerusalem's skies. Israel's Iron Dome, with the US and Jordanian help, intercepts most, but 2 missiles did hit Tel Aviv, injuring 7 lightly. Take a look at the wild video shown here. Friday, June 13th, early morning, Israel continues to strike Iran, targeting Tehran, which, by the way, is where all the terrorists in Iran are located, primarily. Iran's air defenses are overwhelmed. And here's an interesting part to this. Saudi Arabia, despite tensions with Iran, quietly allowed Israel to intercept Iranian drones from Saudi airspace. So we're now seeing collaboration between Saudi and Israel, which is pretty freaking interesting. This is basically a tit-for-tat chain of events, folks, and it's not slowing down. And now, right now, breaking news today, Israel officially requests that the United States joins them in their fight against the IRGC. That's breaking news as of not even hours ago. And it seems like the US has already started sending troops over to the Middle East. So we're going to have to see how this situation turns out. Is Canada going to follow suit? Well, we know that Canada normally follows the United States wherever it goes and conducts its military operations. So if the US does get formally involved, does that mean NATO will also be involved? That's what we're going to have to keep a close eye on in the next few days. But yet again, our Weaselville Prime Minister Mark Carney made the wrong decision by not condemning the IRGC, who fund Hamas, Hezbollah, and ISIS. He literally has not said a single thing against the regime in Iran. Meanwhile, in Canada, we have Khalistani supporters and Sikhs campaigning on Parliament Hill, literally with foreign flags and Khalistani symbols and their freaking knives or daggers, whatever the heck you want to call it, yelling and crying against Modi and India being invited to the G7 in Alberta, which is taking place, I think, starting today. And they're saying that they want to, quote, kill Modi's politics. But anyways, that's another story for another day. There's also more breaking news as I'm filming this. The U.S. NORTHCOM, which is the United States Northern Command, announced increased security at their military installations. As one news article puts it, U.S. Northern Command announced Saturday morning that it will be adding additional security to all military installations in the U.S. NORTHCOM area of responsibility because of world events, according to a news release. Employees and visitors at military installations should expect longer wait times for access. While U.S. Northcom says they're not aware of any specific threat, they say increased force protection measures will remain in place until further notice. The United States is on high alert, and rightfully so, and they're increasing their security even domestically. And they did that all across continental US and Alaska. Now, this could also just be related to the massive Hamas protests that we're seeing across the United States. It could very well be related to that. Or it could be something else. But it just seems like the whole world right now is a ticking time bomb, so to speak. We definitely need to be on high alert. Now that we're all caught up on the breaking news, let's break down the numbers, because this situation ain't just noise. It's a high-stakes showdown. Israel's initial strikes used 200 fighter jets, dropping 330 munitions on 100 targets across Iran, including nuclear sites and command centers. Iran's retaliation involved over 100 ballistic missiles and drones, with Israel's Iron Dome intercepting most. Only 2 missiles landed, causing minor damage, but Iran continued attacking. We can also see full-on airspace chaos. Jordan, Iraq, Iran, and Israel closed their skies, grounding flights. This is a high-tech battle, guys. The Saudi Arabia's in the mix by letting Israel shoot down Iran's terrorist stuff from their own territory. Seriously, that's a very bold move, especially considering Saudi's public condemnation of Israel's actions in the past and how that sums up to be a new, renewed partnership of sorts. It's interesting, to say the least. Now, how's the situation hitting Canada? Well, Mark Carney has been making some eyebrow-raising moves. First, just remember that he invited Saudi Arabia to the G7 in Alberta, which is happening like right now, if not very soon. In response to the Saudis' crown prince saying thanks but no thanks, why? Who knows? Carney's push for Saudi at the G7 looks like a bid to cozy up to the Middle East players. But as we can see, it just flopped. So good job. Then there's a military spending bombshell, and this is where it gets very interesting, folks, because last week, Carney announced that Canada is going to hit NATO's 2% GDP defense spending by March 2027, which would be the first time Canada has reached that target since the Cold War. That's billions of dollars of spending in just 2 years. That's not the usual 10-year rollout. So why the rush, right? This wasn't in his campaign, which is crazy. It wasn't his campaign, but this is the biggest financial target that he's ever really reached. He didn't campaign on it, so why is he promising to do this right after the election? Well, NATO's been pressuring us, absolutely, but the timing is quite suspicious. Right as Israel and Iran go at it, I mean, don't you agree? Let's take a look at Sean Newman in Alberta and what he had to say. I probably couldn't have said it better myself. Let's start with this. Military spending is overdue, but Carney's $9 billion boost feels politically motivated, not strategic. Our military's in rough shape. Only 1 of 4 submarine works, half the equipment is unserviceable, and just 58% of Canadian armed forces can respond to a NATO crisis. Past government projects like the Phoenix Pay System costing $3.5 billion and ArriveCan ballooning to $59.5 million from $2.35 million shows a pattern of waste. So why is Carney rushing to meet NATO's 2% target by this year and not 2032, aligned suspiciously with the G7 summit and pressure from allies like the United States? The $9 billion will likely come from tax hikes, healthcare cuts, or printed money, hitting working families already crushed by inflation. Procurement delays like F-35 jets that were ordered over a decade ago or Navy ships 15 years late suggest that this spending won't fix things fast. This does feel like a distraction, with Carney aiming to impress NATO while ignoring veterans and broken equipment. So what exactly is Prime Minister of Canada Mark Carney's play? Well, Carney's calling for maximum restraint from Israel and Iran, but he's also backing Israel's right to defend itself. That's a diplomatic tightrope walking. And his ministers aren't having it. We literally have in Canada a Minister of Defense who's a literal Hamas apologist. And now she is an Iran terrorist apologist too? I mean, what country are we actually living in? And with the G7 summit coming, Carney is under pressure to align with the United States and with NATO. And so if Canada gets dragged in, say through NATO or the UN peacekeeping, it's our troops on the line. And if oil markets tank due to Middle East chaos, then Alberta's energy sector could take a hit, spiking gas prices coast to coast to coast. Although on that point, some think that uncertainty in the Middle East is a good thing for Alberta oil. I'm not saying Carney's got a separate agenda, but Newman has a point. Where is the transparency? Why wasn't there spending debate going on during this election? Why all of a sudden a push to reach our NATO target in defense spending when, to be honest, Justin Trudeau never even came close to it in the past 10 years? Something smells off. And I would love to know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Look, I'm not a fortune teller, but here's my take. Canada is going to push for diplomacy at the G7, maybe offer humanitarian aid or peacekeeping to look good, which is historically what Canada has been doing. But if NATO calls, Carney's new budget says that we are ready to chip in with equipment, maybe even troops. That's a slippery slope, and if Iran or its terrorist extremist proxies like Hezbollah, if that escalates, we're looking at a regional war that'll jack up oil prices and strain many economies. Folks, this Israel-Iran fight is not in our backyard, but our Prime Minister's moves say that we are getting involved, like it or not. So what's the cost for Canadians? That's what I'm looking at. Let me know down in the comments. Should Canada stay out of this, or is Carney's spending plan legit? Does this situation mean that we're on the verge of World War III? And is the US already sending troops in the Middle East to fight in the conflict? Trump reaffirmed his position on the issue. He supports Israel and will work with Netanyahu to destroy the extremists in Iran. So again, does this mean for Canada and North America as a whole? And just hold on a second, because Trump did call this Israel-Iran mess days ago. Watch this video here.
Is an Israeli strike on Iran?
Well, I don't want to say imminent, but it looks like it's something that could very well happen. Look, it's very simple, not complicated. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Other than that, I want them to be successful. I want them to be tremendous. We'll help them be successful. We'll trade with them. We'll do whatever is necessary.
June 9th, he warned of big conflict brewing on Truth Social, days before Israel strikes. That's quite interesting. Anyways, that's all from me today. Smash that like button, subscribe to the video, turn bell notifications on, and I look forward to seeing you in another video for another update. Bye for now.